Yeah, although prosecutors don't have to show a motive to get a conviction for first-degree murder, juries want to know the motive, especially when they see this clean-cut guy with no criminal background. They want to know why he did it. Now, I think it's coming into focus why he did it. He seemed to be a devotee of serial killers and crime. I mean, he studied under the BTK's autobiographer. I mean, he was so interested in true crime that it looks like he wanted to be the center of his own story.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Let's look at Bryan Kohberger's prison video. I'm curious what you guys think about this. I believe that this video is very telling. It tells us a little bit about Bryan's OCD. Let's talk about it. Let me pop the volume and boost it on my end. All right, here we go. Okay, so it's very, very short clip, but I do want to look at it together. And I do want to take a moment to look at and see what we see, what we can learn about Bryan Kohberger from these images. I do believe this is authentic, and I believe that this was taken in the Idaho State Maximum Security Prison. That's who I think this came from, because Ada County has denied it. Latah County has denied it. The Idaho Maximum Security Prison that he's currently housed in has not denied it. What they've said is they're investigating it. So I do believe that this was taken off of a monitor. There's cameras that were to be looking at him. He's on isolation, security precautions, which is why he's in isolation, why he gets a cell all to himself. But let's look and see what can we learn. First of all, people thought it was weird that he wasn't in a prison jumpsuit. But if you look right here, because I guess, he wore the prison orange, but that would have been from Ada County. Once he's transferred, this might be what they wear at the Idaho Maximum State Prison. We can also see that he's carefully cleaning what looks like a pair of black Crocs. There's a shoe here and a shoe here. So he is got some OCD. He's meticulously cleaning what are probably his shoes, and we see a pair of orange shoes here. Now, I don't know, one of these are probably shoes. I would think it would be the slides that he would wear in the shower, and then these are probably the only other pair of shoes that he has. You can see that there are some things lined up on his bed. Let me back up, see if we can see a little bit more. Looks like pretty evenly spaced apart on the bed too. You can see there are 3 items about evenly spaced apart, and you can see this is the toilet, and behind the toilet is the sink. This would be the sink that he uses. He probably wet the paper towel in the sink. And the grab bars are probably if they have somebody who's handicapped or maybe elderly in solitary. And then a lot of people have wondered what Bryan Kohberger is staring at here. I believe if you look inside this little cage, it looks like it has a tiny little TV. So it looks like he does have access to a TV, but that he doesn't really have access to it. He can look at it in through this chain linked box where it's housed, but he doesn't have the ability to change the channels. It doesn't look like, unless one of these things on the bed is a remote control, and he can change it with that. And that this could be a remote right here, but he has to watch a tiny little TV behind a cage. So it's not a clear view of the TV, but I think that's what he's doing. I think he's watching TV while he cleans his shoes. And then if you look on top of the TV set, you can see it's not pristine. You can see there's a couple of cups here sitting there. So he's not as OCD about cleanliness. Now, he could be OCD about hand washing. There's been a lot of comments that I've seen online about the fact that his hands and wrists are really red. And we also heard from one of the people that were in jail with him at Latah County that he would wash his hands until they were red. So the fact that his hands are scrubbed clean, he would be scrubbing them in this little sink back here. And you can see the toilet paper roll is here, and it looks like another piece of paper towel is here. He probably uses this to wipe the sink. But you can see he's got some cups littered there. It's not like he has a side table to put them on, but there are multiple cups. And so he doesn't seem like he's as OCD as maybe Ann Taylor said that he was, as far as some things, probably with hand washing, but maybe not with cleanliness. When I first looked at this, I saw this as blue thing. I don't know. I thought why I thought this. I thought it was like a parrot or something. It's not. It's definitely a screen, a blue screen from a TV, which I think he is watching. And you can see on top of the cage, he's just got some cups. One is turned upside down, one is right side up, and it looks like some kind of a orange, probably a orange shirt, maybe part of a jumpsuit, but just kind of not carefully. It's just sort of hanging there. So again, the OCD. He is cleaning his shoes. He looks like he scrubs his hands till they're red, but I don't see like OCD with how he keeps the room. It doesn't look that orderly. His shoe is just on the floor here. The other two are sort of against the wall, but not as neatly as I would expect it to be. Maybe let me know if you have a different feeling on it. And I think was trying to make out what was on the top of this. I thought maybe it was a towel, but this could just be another pair of dark pants. He might have another shirt and a dark pants that he alternates with in prison. So he has two pairs of clothes and he showers every other day. And you can see here there's toilet paper stacked up here in the corner. And then you can see this is why I thought it was a TV, because there is a plug that plugs into the wall that connects it to the TV, which is why I thought it was probably a TV. So I think this was something that somebody took while they were watching him on the monitor. Let me know if you guys have a different feeling. We're going to watch the video together one more time. Let me move myself up here. And I'm not sure what's in this bag. I just do want to acknowledge that I did see the bag. I just don't know what's in it. And it looks like there's like maybe a couple of, I don't think this is part of the bed. It looks like there's a couple of maybe towels, like a towel and a washcloth hanging up on the end of the bed to dry. And I believe this might be a remote, but I can't say with 100% certainty. Let's talk about Dr. Ramsland and the missed red flags.
I met him in the fall of 2018 when he came to DeSales University. He had an associate's degree and he was going to get into our 4-year program as a psychology major. He selected the forensic track, which made him an advisee for me because I managed the forensic track.
So she was not just his teacher, not just his professor, but she was his advisor.
What was your perception of him?
He seemed like eager to be in the classroom. He was polite. He was respectful, intense, and curious.
And the reason we're watching this, you guys, is in light of the fact that we found out that a professor was trying to sound the alarm at WSU, that Bryan Kohberger was a predator, that he thought he was going to essay other people, and he was trying to tell, texting about it. This SK expert picked up no red flags related to Bryan Kohberger, but she should have. We're going to talk about those together in listening to her own statements.
And there was no reason for me to think that he was anything other than someone who was really interested in this potential career.
Was there anything looking back now that was strange about him or that you noticed?
When I look back, there really isn't anything that stood out to me. I think when you're a teacher, your instinct is to accept students at face value. You don't, start with suspicions or, and there really weren't any red flags. He was always really quite respectful and grateful.
Okay, respectful and grateful. So it's how he was treating her. But we know that sociopaths, you and I know this, right? Sociopaths are very charming and respectful and grateful when they're getting their way. I mean, we know they're charming, that they can be charming. But we have the chief of Pullman Police Department saying that they didn't hire him because they saw red flags. They didn't think he was going to get along with their other police officers. We have a professor at the Washington State University, whose text messages have now been released sounding the alarm that Bryan Kohberger was a predator. But Dr. Ramsland, who's an SK expert that wants to write a book about Bryan Kohberger to help identify SKs, is his student advisor and professor. She sees no red flags. And again, sociopaths can be charming and manipulative. I mean, but nothing stood out to her.
He would thank me for things. He was attentive. He would do the work. I didn't have any concerns.
She had no concerns. Not a single red flag from this SK expert. So this woman wants to write a book with Bryan Kohberger to help us identify SK. She's already written a couple of books. She spent 5 years with BTK, giving him lots of attention, right, to write books about Dennis Rader. But she's going to write a book about Bryan Kohberger. I'm sorry. Maybe somebody does need to do a study on him, but I don't think it is this SK expert. I don't understand why she didn't see any red flags with him when everybody else saw red flags.
I think it was 4 classes that you taught him.
4 classes. She had him in 4 classes, and she was his student advisor. But remember what she just told us: no red flags. But
what were those classes?
There were 3 undergraduate courses in the forensic track that I taught, and he was in all of them. Well, one was Introduction to Forensic Psychology. Another was my death investigation class, which was called Psychological Sleuthing. And the third one was called Dangerous Minds, the Psychology of Antisocial Behavior. And then he got into the graduate program in criminal justice for a master's degree. And he took a course with me called Behavioral Criminology.
So she had 4 classes with him, and she's academic advisor, but she didn't pick up on anything. She tells us there's no red flag. So I guess my question is there any value to studying these predators, or at least any value to her writing a book about Bryan Kohberger when you have a sociopath, a psychopath, sitting in 4 of your classes who you're an academic advisor to, and you can't pick this guy out? If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Give this a thumbs up and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough.